earned NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Is that meaningful at all for you?
Once again, not really something you pay much attention to. Just focus on going back, looking at the last game we played, what we did wrong, what we did right, how we can improve, and move on to the next week.
Zeke, you tweeted yesterday when Romo was speaking or right after about how it struck you. Can you kind of describe that feeling?
Romo's a competitor like all of us. That's what makes athletes great. That's what makes the great competitors. Just the want to win, the want to be great, and just as a fellow competitor, someone that has the same emotions about the game, someone has the same emotions about wanting to be great. Just you can. The word I'm looking for. You can
Sympathize.
Sympathize. There we go.
You went over 1,000 yards. Another question about is it meaningful? I mean, it's a pretty big number in the NFL, and to only be halfway through the season to hit that.
Just it was what was expected of me, being an early pick in the draft, and playing behind that great offensive line we got. It was an expectation, just one of our goals for this season. We get to check off, but not really paying too much attention to it. Just gonna keep trying to keep this ball rolling and win some more football games.
You say your emphasis is on team, but since the team is doing so well, so many people nationally are starting to talk about you and Dak as far as awards and MVP and NFC Offensive Player of the Year. Do you find that gratifying? Is that something you don't even think about at all, or how do you address that sort of conversation?
Really, it's not. Whoever wins MVP, whoever wins, whatever those awards are, that's not my decision. My job is to go out there and play football. My job is to go out there and win football games. We go out there, we play well, we win football games. All the good stuff will come with it. So, it's not my job to worry about something that I can't control. All I can control is go out there and how I perform every week.
Did you feel the Pittsburgh game was your best game overall since you've been in the league?
I think it was a good game for me. I don't know if it was my best game overall, but I think it was a game where I was required to do a lot of things, and I think I handled everything pretty well. I think I played a pretty good game.
And you talked about your friendship with Dak. How much do you feel like that kind of unspoken communication and just the fact you two know each other so well has attributed to this 8-1 start?
I just think that this whole team is close. You know what I mean? I feel like that everyone's close in this locker room, and that's a tribute to all the success that we've had, just because when we go out there, we're truly one unit. No matter offense, defense, we're all together. So when offense is down, let's say we turn the ball over, defense will come pick us up. You know what I mean? You find some teams, one side of the ball may not be playing that well. You got guys getting down each other. You're not going to find that in this locker room. We all fully support each other. We go out there and we play for each other. And we have one unique purpose to be out here.
In that same kind of spirit, when talking about Tony Romo and the speech he made yesterday, what is that camaraderie like between you and he?
Like I said, I think it just echoes the mentality of this team. Everyone in this locker room feels the same way. We all, like I said, have one common goal, and that's just go out there and win football games and be the best football team we can be. And sometimes, I think, especially when you're a competitor, no one expects. Basically, we all want to win. Honestly, it doesn't matter who's playing. We all want to go out there and win football games. That's our goal.
Zeke, Romo talked yesterday about seasons being fleeting, games feeling more and more important as you get older and further into your NFL career. For somebody like yourself, 21 years old, just starting your career, what message do you hear in that way? How does that hit you when you think about what your career, how long it could be, and how important games really are in seasons?
This is a game that doesn't at all last forever, especially at a position like mine. Just honestly, just to take advantage of every year, every season, because you never know when it can all be taken away from you.
Jason, we were just talking after coming out of the Pittsburgh game about this offensive line gets so much credit for being a great zone blocking line, but you can see it like in your screenplay when they actually get out in space, they can still make blocks there. Can you talk about that a little bit and what impresses you about them just beyond the zone blocking? And give some examples of that you've seen.
They're all freak of nature, and they come here and every day they put in the work and they execute on Sundays. But I mean, just on those screenplays, you go back and watch those screenplays and you see this how those big guys get out there and they run and they go cut those DBs down. I mean, you can't teach that athleticism, and I mean that's where they're special. They're special because they're freak athletes.
Is that the fun thing you had when you really went back and looked at the tape of that screenplay, seeing how some of them got out there and made some blocks and got out there pretty good, got down the second, third level?
That's always pretty cool seeing them run downfield and make those blocks. But honestly, that was just a great effort by everyone. You got guys like T-Dub, blocked 2 guys in that play that really sprung the touchdown. And, I mean, everyone, it took all 11 guys that play, and I mean, and we had a good outcome.
Zeke, there have been a couple of points this season where you guys have gone up against defenses that were statistically highly ranked. Baltimore obviously falls into that category. Is there anything in terms of you as an offensive line and as a running back, as you guys as a run game unit, that feels like, yeah, they may be highly ranked defensively, but that's in part because they haven't played this football team yet?
Like I said, stats is not something we really pay attention to. We can't control any of that. Like I said, all we can control is that we go out there and execute. So honestly, we don't really care what the stats look like. We just going to go out there, we're going to execute, and we're going to play the best football we can play.
Do you take it as a challenge?
I mean, you could call it a challenge, but every week's a challenge in this league.
In terms of facing another good defense, how much of this do you feel like is scheme? How much of this is just simply imposing your will on another team?
What do you mean?
In terms of you had to put percentages on it, if you had to give a number for how much of this is just we're just stronger than most everybody else versus we scheme better than most everybody else.
At the end of the day, this is a physical game. This is a physical league, and all it comes down to doesn't really come down to scheme. It comes down to who wants it more, who wants to go out there and win the ball game more. And I mean, I think we're a very physical team. We're a very mentally strong team. And I think that we won it more than a lot of teams.
There's a movie long before your time, probably, called Broadcasters. In it, one of the guys says, "What do you do when reality exceeds your wildest expectations?" And he said, "You keep it to yourself." But you're in a position. You're 8-1. You've got 1,000 yards after 9 games. Has reality exceeded your expectations?
No. Not at all. I mean, like I said, man,
If I told you at the beginning of the year you'd be 8-1 and you'd have over 1,000 yards 9 games into it, would you say I'd take that?
oh, for sure. But I mean, we're competitors. We compete at the highest level. So if you don't believe that you're gonna be the best at what you do, then why even be out here? You're doing everyone else a disfavor if you're gonna even be out here and play at this level. So I mean, I think if you ask if any other person or team in the league was in this position, I don't expect a different answer out of any of them. I think they always say we expect to be exactly where we are and for everything to happen that way, because that's why we go put in that work in the off season. That's why we go to work every week. That's why we do the things we do so we can go out there and perform. So I mean, I wouldn't sound surprised at all by how well we've been playing.
How would you describe Jason Garrett to someone that maybe didn't know him, another football player? How does he compare to maybe other head coaches you've had?
I think his greatest attribute, he's a very consistent coach. You know what I mean? He's very consistent. Nothing really changes from week to week. We do the same things over and over and over. He continues to beat the same things in our head over and over and over again, and I think that actually helps us, because we kind of in the groove. We got a routine going, and obviously it's working.
In your everyday life, do you ever find outside of football using any of the things that he says and like do your job? He's always got all these sayings and stuff like that. Do you ever subconsciously find yourself saying something that, yeah, Coach Garrett says this all the time?
I mean, football is our life. I don't really think there's anything that counts as outside of football for me.
So when you're having a conversation or anything like that with somebody, do you ever think to yourself, oh, wow, it sounds like something Jason Garrett would say?
Well, I mean, yeah, but when you live, you can't live one way during football and live a different way outside of football. That's inconsistency. So whatever you do outside of football is going to carry over to here. Whatever you do here is going to carry over to there. So you got to live the same way, or it's going to create inconsistency in life, and that's never good.